Hello, happy fucking full blood moon in Aries, motherfucker. In case y'all didn't know, I am an Aries sun sign, Libra rising. So we're in my season. We have the full moon in Aries, the blood moon of October. So it's gonna look nice and orange and red tonight. It's actually, so like the full moon rises as the sun is setting and they oppose one another, and that's what makes it like big blood red orange moon. So I'm so excited about that. Hope I get to see it while it's at its fullest and most orange. It is opposing the sun in Libra. So another one of my, this is my season. So think back to 6 months ago, which was April, which was our new moon in Aries, full moon in Libra. What were the seeds that you were planting at the time? What was prominent in your self-work? What kind of things were you trying to manifest? Where were you at with your goals during the year? This is kind of like, a 6-month check-in with that and a culmination to some degree. And so I think that we are going to get some insight, or something is going to come to the surface that will give us some insight about where we're at with that goal and what kinds of changes that we need to make, or if it's come to its completion, or if it's just reached a stage of completion along the journey. Because it's like climbing a mountain, right? You get to different base camps, right? So it's time for us to evaluate where we're at with that. During the full moon, it's like what's within us, what's within our subconscious, our interior landscape is highlighted, but then it's also always opposing the sun, which is always, influenced by whatever its sign is at the time, which that sort of pairs the lessons and the focus of what we're working with and where we're evolving right now. So Aries is not only is it, so let's just start here. We're, overall, our big picture lately for months, the whole year has been like this bridge point of our life where we're leaving one huge era right behind. And we are, in this liminal space this year, really recalculating, recalibrating, figuring out who we are now after all that we've come through along this stage of the journey. What do we want? What's important to us? What do we deeply value? What's not important to us anymore? We've gone through so much and we're different people, even from just a few weeks ago. If we've all been doing the work together, it's crazy how much has not happened and how much has happened and how much has changed and how much energy we've really alchemized and transmuted, and how we're really learning to do that and be the cause consciousness of our life. It's really crazy. So we're different people now, and we're really starting to see the vision form of that higher self version of us that can really show us. It's not like a drag. It's not like we're being the boring version of ourselves, the goody two-shoes. This is like the edge walker version of ourselves, the Evel Knievel, fearless, confident, able to take things on, able to handle the pressure, And it's not this version of us is in ease, right? Because we're not creating a bunch of chaos. It's we can handle it, and mostly things are working out fine because we have found resonance and harmony, right? So the full moon in Aries now, is an invitation after, we're going through all the high holidays. It's okay, well, this is sort of the beginning where we're breaking trail, where we have all this new rebirth energy. And it's where we're at now, we're deciding who are we going to be as we're moving forward in this new cycle, this huge new cycle of our life, right? What do we want, and who do we have to be to get there, and who do we have to stop being to get there? What do we have to stop doing? What do we have to stop entertaining? And so the things that we don't value, we're having to sort of edit them or repurpose them or put them in different context in our life, or let them fall like leaves and leave them behind and let them, break away and break down and become something else, right? So that is happening. We're getting in touch with this identity of self and we're learning how to really love and value ourselves and set the boundaries that we need to be able to sustain what we're wanting to create and who we're trying to be. You know, we don't want to be wobbling every which way anymore, or be, you know, super affected by, you know, the circumstances of life. We want to be more consistent. We want to have security, so that we need to create security, right? If we want stability, we need to make stability. So we're really learning how to love ourselves and create all of that we want to see around us. It's like we're always asking our circumstances to make us feel secure and stable. But really what's required is that we create secure and stable circumstances and surround ourselves with people, things, situations, jobs, careers, habits, routines that create stability and security in our life. And the things that are disrupting that, we need to stop trying to push a peg that's a circle into a square hole that doesn't fit, right? We just need to learn to let go and, you know, move into a direction that is resonant with us, right? But first, we have to get resonant with what's truly authentic for us, so that we can find that true, comfortable base level of self that is emanating this comfort and ease and satisfaction, because we're comfortable in our own skin. We're being who our soul is trying to like steer us in the direction to become, right? We're releasing the white-knuckled grip on the will of the small self and surrendering it to the care of the higher self. What's happening is, I can't remember exactly what is aspecting to Chiron right now. I can't remember. There's a lot going on. But whatever is, like, with all of this energy in Aries right now, a gift of anger might happen. Something might start getting under your skin or pissing you off, or making the anger or resentment that you have apparent to you. And that's good. It's a favor. It's a highlighter showing you, hey, look, what is that telling you? What is that really about? What are you denying in yourself, or what has the life that you have created up until now not provided you that you need? So you need to make adjustments, but you need to look to see what your anger is telling you and where the healing needs to happen. Now, trace back to childhood. That's probably connected to the major trauma or theme of your childhood. You know, how were you traumatized in childhood, and what did you need that you didn't get? That's probably the void you're trying to fill now, and it's also the cycle that you're repeating because your subconscious has programming that was created as a child when you had these things happen, right? We're not blaming, we're just trying to figure out how we can fix the programming, right? And then reprogram so that we can set ourselves up for a different existence now, right? So something in childhood needs to be healed. We are healing the inner child. And right now, because we have not been attentive enough to healing that inner child, the only person who's been taking care of that inner child has been the ego. And the ego has been babysitting inner child because we've been distracted and we've been neglecting inner child, our present self, our conscious self, our self that can connect, has a choice to connect with the higher self, right? But we are the intermediary between present and past child self, right? You know, the child self doesn't have access to the higher self unless we connect them. But who does have a lot of access to the child self is our ego self that is already has closer proximity. And so the ego self is going to be the shit stirrer. Like, yeah, they were so mean to us and that was fucked up. And, you know, it's probably just because we're not worth it. And like, whatever, fuck all them. Like, who cares if they don't care? You know, and it's like spiteful and vengeful and, oh, we're such the victim. And, oh, you know, we must not be worth anything. And and it's like what we're doing is it's like, would you allow, if you had kids or like some child that you cared about, would you allow them to be with some asshole that's indoctrinating them to feel terrible about themselves, to be set up to feel bitter and paranoid about everything in the world and everyone in it? No, you'd be like, I don't want this person influencing this child. I'm gonna step in the way and intervene here. So that's what we have to do with Chiron. The wounded healer helps us go back and heal that inner child and address those wounds. Okay, Venus is also, wait. So we're in Libra. So now we need to understand ourselves in the context of how we relate to others, because so Aries is the first slice in the astrological wheel and in the houses, and so that's the self. Well, up until Virgo, up until house 6, it's all about the self and how we relate and understand who we are, right? And how we express that. Now, once we get to the 7th house, that's all about our relationships. It's ruled by Venus, how we relate to our community, our family, our friends, our lovers, our employers, how we relate to our job, our sustenance, how we make money, how we relate to the kind of home that we create around us and our community. So our relationships are being highlighted specifically in this moon, and what affects our relationships more than the wounded child, right? And then we're going into this new start. We don't want to take all that unhealed, wounded child ego cycle, drama with us. We're turn MTV off, please. Don't leave it for the dog to watch. You know what I'm saying? Too much drama, right? Turn all that shit off. Boom. We're gonna have healing, and we're going to bring the inner child, and we're going to nurture and spend time with that inner child and say, you know what? Oh my gosh, like, I have compassion for you. I'm not going to deny what you went through. That's horrible. You were victimized, but you're not now. And now we're going to learn together how we're going to prevent things like that from happening again. We're going to learn how to make it safe to know who's trustworthy and who's not. And I am going to make sure that no one or situation is going to hold power over us to such a degree that we can't protect ourselves or have our needs met or liberate ourselves from soul-sucking situations or situations that are unequal or not reciprocated, right? So we're taking a look at our relationships. We're leaning into the relationships that we value. We're deepening those relationships. They're more intimate. They're more fun. We're spending more quality attention and time into those. The ones that are not jiving, the relationships that don't reciprocate, that don't respond, that don't give anything, that don't show that they care, stop trying to fix them. Right? They have to choose to get the help for themselves, right? At this point, that if you keep going, that's codependent. And so what you need to do is take a step back. Let them learn from their own mistakes or their own wins, but let them find the help by themselves, because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And sometimes people are determined not to hear it from you or this person or that person, and it's just some random source that has to come and give them their eureka moment. Let them have it. Sometimes we have to let people lose something or hit a rock bottom before their own rock bottom. We all have to hit our own rock bottom, and sometimes it takes loss to understand what we should have appreciated or the opportunities that we had and just slept on and missed, right? So we don't want to do that anymore. We also don't want to keep entertaining and suffering the fools that just want to come and dump and vent on you constantly about things, but never want to change their life. But they want you to be their constant ear and just give them sympathy, but they're not willing to get help or listen to advice or grow beyond this, and they're not giving you the same in return. Don't entertain that stuff anymore. You need to communicate clearly. And with Mars in Gemini and Venus sextiling Saturn asks us to do the work of what is it going to take in this relationship to evolve and keep growing? And if we're not willing to do that, then it's going to go away, whether that be a dream that you have for your purpose or your job or your career, or whether it be friends, whether it be family, whether it be a lover or what have you, a creative project. If you don't nurture it, then, and you're not willing to do the work, and you're not willing to show up, and you're not willing to devote and commit, then nothing is ever going to come of it. That is the lesson of Saturn. It's the disciplinary. It's the one that says, hey, you have to earn your allowance money. It's the strict father, but that is giving you loving discipline, right? And Saturn is about to go direct from retrograde. So this this time that we've been in, and it's been going on for a while now, it's like you're like, God, what am I gonna have to do to get ahead? It's really been training you like boot camp to have the discipline to keep showing up even when there's no results, because when the results start coming, that's when you start getting lazy. That's when you get the nice fat, you know, ooh, I'm well fed now, I want to lay back and put my feet up, and that's when everything starts to slip, right? So you want the discipline to be consistent. It needs to be sustainable so that you don't burn it out, right? So that's what we've been doing. We've been finding these equitable balances within the themes and the different areas of our lives. Let's see, Mars is in Gemini, so communication will be like, you'll really have the urge maybe over the next few days or over this influence of Aries full moon, especially with Mars in Gemini, to communicate. It's like you really have this gumption and you have a confidence to believe in yourself, and you know that you are worthy and deserving, and so you're ready to like speak what you want, say what you need. Make a bold, decisive statement. I know that's really hard for Libra. You know, it's like, what's your favorite movie? Oh God, don't ask me to answer questions or make decisions. Like that's our lot in life. We have to overcome that, because we're always like, oh, you know, I can be happy either way, but everybody else has such a strong opinion. It's like, no. What you need to do, and what everybody else is waiting for you to do, is just have your own opinion and then demand it. That's the lesson here. And it feels selfish, right, to you, but like when you're the one who's always over giving, the lesson to balance you out is to be a little bit more concerned with your needs. Now, like if you're always thinking about your own self, it's also time to start looking to see what you are bringing to others. What do you offer, right? So, you know, we're bringing all of those things into awareness and into balance. Mars in Gemini is also helping us get really like, our perceptions are shifting, and we're having kind of a new mindset. And so what's happening right now is that our new mindset and our kind of like fresh soul and like who we're kind of becoming is showing up to these situations, and it's like we're feeling differently and we're looking at things differently, but like the default setting is still kind of like coming up to be the first thing to respond. That is where pause, what a pleasure, restrict comes in. Stop. Don't default setting like react. Pause and ask yourself, okay, what is this situation offering me to see right now? This is an opportunity for me to overcome my temper or my passivity or my confusion or my indecisiveness or my procrastination or my avoidance, my tendency to not want to open up or be vulnerable. Whatever it is, it's like, okay, this is a moment where I get to break the pattern. So I'm not going to go on default setting. I'm going to touch base with who I am becoming, who I want to be now, what I feel, what I think, my new perception. And then I'm going to start embodying this new life by acting in accordance and in alignment with all that is now, right? And so that's how we're creating our new reality. That's how we pass these tests. That's how we embody the new self and set that foundation and get it moving, right? I have a feeling that like come January, I feel like 2023 is going to be like launch the rocket. But I think we thought 2022 was going to launch the rocket, but really we've just been like ground control prepping for the launch, right? We've been, you know, in that centrifuge, like getting used to like zero gravity and all that. Let's see, what else? Neptune is doing something with someone. Mars is squaring Neptune. So Neptune, it's like Mars gives us all this energy to want to like go forward and like do stuff, because it's like we've had all of this cardinal energy from the new moon. Now we have all of this like Aries and Libra cardinal influence of the full moon. Plus the moon itself is ruled by Cancer, which is the cardinal sign. So there's all this initiative to want to like get going and like, you know, you want to like really like go forward, guns blazing. But like Neptune is kind of like bringing a fog in. So even though you want to like open her up and like burn some rubber, eat my dust, you can't, because like a fog has come in and we're like San Francisco mode now. And we're like, great, well, I can hardly see what's going on ahead of me. So we are going to have like this little period of illusion and uncertainty and all of this, but it is again an opportunity for us to practice certainty and faith beyond reason within uncertain times, and be able to embody that courage and that trust and really stick to our guns and not settle and not short circuit and not fall prey to fearful scarcity mode patterns. That up and down, that is what's kept us from being able to fully pull in and resonate long enough with activating the law of attraction, right? So, and this is just for like smooth goings in our lives, right? This is to open us up to opportunities, more fulfilling, experiences with those around us, enjoying our day-to-day more, just like getting more out of the little things in life, which also allow us to like be more relaxed in the big things, right? Because there's not so much hanging on them, right? Because we have a lot of fulfillment coming and going in our day, right? Okay, I think that we are now caught up on the astrological notes I had going on. Now let us start our Celtic Cross with my custom deck that I'm in the process of writing. Straightforward oracle. Let us see. Oh, who are we in the context of this moment? I really feel like it's this. Let go of control and creation phase 4 came out with it. Holy shit, guys. So this is this moment of this, it's like that quiet moment when the water draws back from the shoreline and the huge tsunami is coming. So creation phase 4 means that the manifestation has come through all of the levels of consciousness and imagination and inspiration, and it is gone through the channels, and now it is coming into the physical world, crystallizing into a material, like it's taking shape in a material way. So you might, like the plane is circling the runway, all right, and it's waiting to land, so we need to chill out because a gate is about to open, but we cannot get neurotic and obsessive and like that Aries energy is making us want to do something and act and like get all up in that masculine energy of taking action, but that is not in alignment with the moment right now. We are manifesting. This is a great full moon to manifest. It's our last manifestation full moon before eclipse season. You don't want to manifest during an eclipse season because it's like, or you don't want to start anything new. I mean, you can always be manifesting, but you don't want to initiate any great big new things during an eclipse season because it will have the energy of chaos within it, right? It will have the essence of that in the root and in the seed. So right now it's all about, be patient is on the top of the deck. It's all about relax into the moment now, like that it's beginning to crystallize. Just rinse and repeat. Keep going with the things that are working. Keep pruning away the things that aren't working. Don't do anything crazy. What you're doing is working. Don't suddenly have this urge and need to control, but keep being proactive, because the thing that brings us to the creation phase 4, where we get the manifestation, is that we're not resting on our laurels, right? That Saturn has shown us to be disciplined, consistent, sustaining, right? So we want to be proactive, right, about overcoming and continuing to expand and push ourselves out of our comfort zone. But we want to do it in a relaxed way where it's just like routine. We're just sticking with the routine. We're letting go of control. We're surrendering. We trust the universe. It's a done deal, right? When you can trust and you feel like it's a done deal, you don't need to control, right? So relax. Relax. All right, what is crossing us? Ooh, it's time to get over this and move on. Just choked on my hair. Some pain, some attitude, some idea, some misunderstanding, a grudge, a career that's just sucking the life out of you. Something is a ball and chain in your life that is holding you back, and it needs to be healed finally go back, follow the anger, go back to the childhood wounds and trauma. But something needs to be released finally, once and for all. Not that it can never come up again, but right, you don't need it to be so prominent. Stop picking the scab. Allow the process to come forward. If you keep circling back around with something, like what is it that you're holding on to about this lesson that you're not like processing or moving forward or allowing a healing? Like, is there something about it that you're not willing to get over? Are you just stubbornly hanging on to something? Or are you not aware that it's a matter of just like making it up in your mind within yourself to just begin to move forward? Take initiative and empowerment to look straight at these feelings when they come and explore them and do something with them. Don't just marinate in a soup of like sorrow and anger and anguish. Examine it. What is it really telling you? Okay, but it's time to get over this and move on with your life, right? Life is short. Time is going by and you can't let something hold you back forever. There's new things that want to happen. There's experiences that want to happen. There's new purposes and things that you will enjoy, right? So, I mean, I changed a career that I thought was like my whole lifelong dream, and I really haven't missed doing it this year at all. Not at all. I love film and I'm working in a restaurant. I'm happier, much happier. I've got more work-life balance. I can do the things that I really love. You know, it's not just a one-dimensional life anymore. You know, I was tired of that pirate's life where really it seemed like I was all free and like out to sea, but really the ship owned me. I only got to make port, you know, when I wasn't working. And then it was like, all right, well, time to get back on the ship calls, right? So ask yourself, what's really holding power over you in your life and preventing you from having like the freedom that you really crave? Don't be lazy. The underlying subconscious influence right now that is kind of still affecting the situation is just an avoidance to really like do what needs to be done to move forward. It's the backbone, it's the assertiveness, it's just the determination to like rise up and like do what has to be done, like pull up bootstraps, britches, get your suspenders on, you know, get that tool belt, whatever you need to do. Go get a therapist, talk to a spiritual counselor, whatever you need to do to get moving, or, you know, take a class, get a new skill, whatever it is, like get your workout routine going and stop thinking about it, right? Okay, what is the lesson from the past? Because you know what, there is a tikkun from laziness, and if people have a lot of earth in their chart, or if they have a lot of earth influence, then they can be very what is it called when an object in motion, like with the mass, it wants to come to a rest or whatever. It's like earth wants to settle down and stay put and be still and solid because they're earth. But like it can also, as a vice, like as a virtue, it's like stable, secure, you know, sustainable, long lasting. But as like a vice, it can be lazy, it can be stubborn, it can be stuck in its ways, right? So we want to overcome those tendencies to, you know, that fiery spirit, right? We want to reignite that, right? And what we have to do is burn off that earthy laziness. Okay, that earthiness to want to be stuck in our ways, to want to stay put, to be like a rock gathering moss or what have you. Or a feeling like you have to be driven, you know, like controlled by the idea that a rolling stone gathers no moss. It's like, don't let any of these like extreme ideas hold sway over you. We're wanting to find balance in our lives through the influence of Libra and Venus. Okay, so the energy or the lesson from the past that's still kind of affecting you now, that's kind of clearing up, stop obsessing. So we have been alerted recently in the readings to stop obsessing and to let go of the neurotic controlling energy. And I think that we're starting to learn how to do that. So I think that we've started feeling blocks dissolving and moving out of our way, right? But it's because we've stopped obsessing. But because obsessing is a habit, like we have to stop. We have to catch ourselves when we're obsessing and just stop and like shift our focus to something else. And then we have to stop obsessing about stop obsessing. And then we have to stop obsessing about stopping obsessing. So don't be obsessed. Oh my gosh. You know what? I actually have obsessive compulsive tendencies. I've never been like diagnosed or anything, but I mean, I can tell when I need to like I feel the need to check the locked doors like 27 times before I leave the house. And when I catch myself doing it, I just say, you know what? Something in my spidey senses is making me feel insecure or hyper-vigilant or hyper-aware, and I'm just being hyper-vigilant right now, and I don't have to, because this is just my subconscious feeling a need to control and make me feel secure, but it's just an illusion. And then I can just cope and work my way through it and out of the house. Okay, you guys, what is crowning our situation right now? What is crowning us? What has potential to come into being with this energy that's going on right now? Vibrational dissonance. Vibrational dissonance is what we have potential for, because we're so close and we're feeling all excited and charged up with Aries and, you know, that full moon energy, and we're wanting to take charge and rush forward. But now it's just not a good time to rush forward. Now, the most productive thing we can do is relax, really get clear about the things that we want, and like write it out, do some kind of thing where you can really solidify it for yourself and put it in front of you as a constant reminder of like, hey, this is what I want now. This is what my deepest authenticity, not what everybody else thinks I should want, not what I always thought I should, not what like 10 years ago me wanted, but what does me now want? And that way, when you're tempted to backslide or settle or get sidetracked, you can look to see, okay, this is really what I want. You know, deep values, right? The deal breaker kind of stuff. And stick to that, and then be aware of it, but then like let go, right? We can't force these things to happen. Just be truly aware and be prepared to be open to opportunities when they come that reflect that. Be prepared to walk away from things that are a block to that or that aren't offering us that. And otherwise we have to relax about it, because obsessively trying, obsessively thinking, obsessively trying to fix ourselves because of this situation or whatever, even overly training yourself for a skill is the same. It's like, just relax with it. Start putting it into practice. See how it goes. Let the chips fall where they may. But obsessing and trying to control will cause vibrational dissonance, right? So stay in ease, stay in alignment with what you are wanting to call in and what you want to become, and make sure that like your thoughts are matching your words and your feelings and your guidance and your deeper, I would say, soul or spirit-driven impulses, not your ego-driven impulses. Check to see if these things are aligned. If you think you should be doing something but you feel awful about it, then that's not in alignment, right? So look for the things that are causing vibrational dissonance, right? Could be, you know, relationships or jobs or things like that you're trying to make work, or you're trying to fix, or you're trying to heal or hold on to, that don't want to be in your life anymore, that are ready to not go into this new chapter. So be willing to let go of those things. Be willing to explore what is resonant and what is not. Okay, but don't obsess, don't control, because you're going to cause the dissonance, and it's not going to be, you're not going to be a magnet for your manifestation. Cause consciousness. What is ahead of us? What's right around the corner? We're stepping into the kind of self that can actually practice that cause consciousness, being the creator of our reality. No matter what the circumstances are, it's like you set your vibrational temperature like a thermostat. I want joy, I want ease, I want to have inner peace. I'm not going to let anybody disrupt that. I'm not going to let someone irritate me or get under my skin. If they do, I'm going to get it out of my system. I'm going to let it pass, but I'm not going to do anything that's going to take any action that's going to cause a ripple effect or a consequence that's going to be a strike against me. I'm just going to process, go to the bathroom, be by yourself, process, get it out with the creator, and then move forward, right? So we want to get to the point where we're so consistent in our vibration that we're sending out a consistent signal for what matches us, with what resonates with us to the universe. But it's when we're like, oh, it's a rainy day today, or I'm having a bad day, or oh, that person said that, now I'm miserable about it for the next 3 hours. Like, what should I have said? All of those things are affect consciousness. That makes us the victim of circumstance. But we can empower ourselves to say, you know what? Not worth changing my vibration over. I want to have affinity with the light of the Creator. I want to be more like the Creator. And the Creator is the constant source of light, radiating, always, not fluctuating. Clouds come, but the sun is always radiating. So we want to be the cause consciousness, and we're really starting to like get what that is, and we're starting to be more aware of it in our practice, and it's starting to become a part of our lives, a part of our consciousness, a part of our practice. Okay, what is the perception? What is our perception, the dominant perception that we have that's really affecting our situation right now? Bad advice. Okay, someone around you is giving you advice. Their advice may seem logical, but it is wrong for you. Don't take it. Okay, and this is like so funny because we've had this bad advice card so many times recently. In the past probably 6 or 7 months, it's come out almost every time except for during the new moon. So now it's back. What did you do differently during the new moon that just passed that got you different results than you'd been getting up until now? What did you maybe have come forward during that time period, like a couple of weeks ago, that you were like, oh, I see, the situation is not exactly how I thought it was, and therefore I feel like I understand what the bad advice was, that I was doing something in a traditional sense that seemed like good advice, but in that particular situation, it was the wrong advice because I had misperceived. The big theme, our perception, we're getting clarity, we're understanding things in a different way, and things are coming to the surface where we're able to say, oh, okay, there was a miscommunication or a misunderstanding, or oh, okay, I'm seeing it more clearly now. So the way that you've been showing up and behaving in whatever the situation is has been in accordance with a misperception anyway. So the advice that you're taking and that you're going by, even though it might be in line with traditional wisdom, is wrong for the situation because you're not understanding the situation correctly, okay? So think back, what brought you a little bit of clarity or forward progress or positivity or healing in a situation around the beginning of the month, that you did something like out of step with what you had been doing, and then maybe lean more in that direction, or at least explore what it's telling you. Okay, the outer circumstances affecting you now, it's time to take action. So take inspired action, yang energy, follow your inner guidance. Wasting time will cause discontent, stagnation, and even chaos. It's called leaving an empty vessel. When you don't follow up and put your money where your mouth is, it creates these empty vessels that gather chaos. Support from the universe. Divine timing meets preparedness. Catch the wave of magic. So we're not forcing right now, but when we get clarity and when we get a ping from the divine, some divinely inspired guidance where we know like deep down, like, ooh, I need to follow that. Do it. Take action, but don't take obsessed action, right? Don't try to control, but do what you're inspired to do, okay? All right, hopes and fears. This is a physical situation to overcome. So there is always going to be a lot of energy work and healing work under the surface to be done. But right now, in this particular situation that's the most prominent in your mind, like a physical act needs to happen. A phone call or a step in a process, an application. Something physical, though, needs to happen that expresses the energy, because that's part of the initiation right now, is to actually do the thing. All right. And the outcome, you're being delusional. So we're seeing through something, some misperception, right? Something that has been so elusive that it's become like distorted within the way that we've perceived it or understood something to be. So perhaps you will find that you will get some clarity about a situation, or that you're going to start getting a lot more realistic about, you're going to stop building castles in the sky, and you're going to get realistic about who you need to be, what you need to do, and who you need to stop being and what you need to stop doing in order to get that, right? We need to show up. Saturn is like, okay, put your big girl and your big boy and your big them pants on, get the suspenders up, and get to work. Roll up the sleeves, because it's time. You know what needs to be done to actually create this life. Now it's time to implement that and be disciplined and consistent and devoted, because otherwise you're just spinning your wheels and wasting precious time. Okay, let's pull a couple of tarot cards to clarify all of this. Okay, what is going to give us a nice synopsis? Okay, oh my goodness, 7 of Cups. Swimming in the illusions and dreams and fantasies and options, and really getting clear on, okay, getting clear past the fog of illusion. What is it that we are really desiring? And what, like, we have options, but which ones are we wanting to focus on? What do we really want to call in? We want to get clear on this and stop actually fantasizing and dreaming, but get into a step forward stage. Okay. Then we have 7 of Pentacles, which means seeds are well planted. But now it's about having patience, because it's going to be a process. 7 and 7 are great numbers to be getting together. It's about having like a divine blessing over a situation. 7 is a very auspicious number, but it is about like getting clear on the soul desires, cutting through illusion, planting the seeds, taking those initial action once you have real clarity on what's going on and what you need to do, and then trusting that the seeds have been well planted, and just being patient and consistent. But don't obsessively overwater the garden, because you'll drown the plant, right? You have to give up control. Gardening is a great teacher for that. You can only do so much, and then when you start overdoing, you ruin everything. And if you don't tend to the plants enough, then you ruin them as well. Okay, oh my goodness. Thank you for all of this communication. Okay, well, we have got to decide within ourselves to move on from this heartbreak. Something is keeping us, I'll just deal with that later. Something is keeping us bound in an indecision, or an unwillingness to just look at the truth, right? And it's time to decide within ourselves to look at the sorrow, right? Look at the disappointment. Look at the things that didn't work out. Stop obsessing about them, but take what they have given you and alchemize that into an inspiration of what you want to create, a determination to get there, courage, motivation, right? Turn it into something beautiful. Turn it into art, right? Make something with it that brings more beauty and more love into your life, but stop wallowing in an ecstasy of sadness, because you are getting further and further and further away from yourself and further into the black shroud that's covering you, right? No more of just staying in a grief cycle when you don't have to, right? You don't have to suffer. Pain is inevitable, all right? But once we accept it and learn to have a relationship with it, where we're not holding on to it, but we're not pushing it away, then we can relax. The Magician came up upside down, right? All of this is it's manipulating the situation. It's causing manipulation in the situation and a desire to try to control, right? So we want to give up control. We want to understand that, yes, as the Magician, we are creators. We are divinely inspired, and we have all that we need to create our reality. But we're also co-creators with the divine, and the truly wise Magician, in order to move on from the first phase of divine consciousness, And to grow past that is to understand that we're not doing it alone. We're reaching up to heaven. We're a channel, bringing divine inspiration, surrendering ourselves as a servant, as a tool of God to bring God's will and his inspiration and his life force and his radiance. He, she, it, the beingness, right? Abstract beingness. We're bringing that into expression, right? And so we can give up control in that. My alarm went off. I gotta hurry. So we need to give up control and surrender to the will of the higher influence, the will of the higher self, because we have true bliss, renewal, harmony, and love that wants to come in. This is going to be a whole new cycle of happiness and fulfillment, you know, a whole new world, like different emotions that are coming in. But we have to surrender to that and allow that happiness to wash over us and wash away the past. All right, let's get a moon cycle card. What is our moon advice from the moon? Oh, okay, we have a new start is coming. New moon. So get prepared. Let what needs to fall away, because we have a new start coming. Nothing will come of the situation void, of course. There's nothing left to offer. So something needs to just be let go of, or some cycle that is no longer fruitful, or the way that you're showing up to a situation isn't getting you anywhere. So you might as well change and try a new approach. Meditate and contemplate, new moon in Pisces. So we do want to sit with ourselves over the next few days and meditate and contemplate what it is that we're ready to draw in, what it is that we really desire, what we're really opening ourselves to, and what we're unblocking in order to get that and become that. Three of Cups, calls for celebration. I love that the moon is in the background here. Celebration, collaborations, reasons to, you know, be happy and joyous. It talks about, you know, pregnancies, weddings, engagements, and whatnot. So we have, my niece is getting married in the next couple of weeks, which is very exciting. So yeah, there's a new mood coming, and it is celebrating life, and it is time, and it has been coming for a long time. And this new cycle is going to offer so much more joy and fulfillment, but we have to learn how to be joyful and fulfilled. And part of that is just like getting rid of the symptoms that are making you so unfulfilled and so joyless, getting rid of the things that are soul-sucking, right? Okay. Let's touch base with our manifestation oracle deck. Magical mermaids and dolphins. Ooh. What was that? Ooh, rest. We got this the other day, actually, when I saw a cute guy in the woods. Rest and recuperate. Give it a rest. Stop obsessing. Let yourself take a breath. We are like, follow nature. Nature is starting to relax. It's not producing for the harvest anymore, right? The plants are just like, all right, I'm done for the year. Like, this is time to start evaluating, okay, where are we? What do we have? Like, relax into the moment, you know? It's about letting the land lie fallow for a minute while we kind of like evaluate what's coming into fruition, what we have now, what we need to plan for next year's garden, you know, what we can grow upon, you know, all of that, what's going to be expanding, but what parts of us are ready to really come into bloom, and what parts of us really want to be nurtured and rested and healed. What needs do we have? Ooh, soulmate relationship, new romance with a spiritual basis is here for you now. Ooh, okay, so I think, and we've had a lot of like hints that this is like circling the runway here, people. There's potential for a soulmate relationship. And maybe you're already in a relationship, and there's potential for you guys to heal the problems that you have and really go deeper and have a more fulfilling relationship. For singles though, rest, relax, and don't control, because it's always when you let your guard down and you're not looking that the universe you're out of your own way, so the universe can make its move. So there's a real potential for a true like kindred soulmate to come in who's like on your level, who wants the same kind of thing that you do, but the pieces are still falling into place. And so you just have to relax and don't obsess and be patient. Okay. Treasure chest, an unforeseen windfall of new abundance is coming to you now. So totally in this energy of like this big fresh start. Waves of prosperity, new abundance and exciting opportunities are washing over you now. Watch your thoughts. It's important to only think about what you desire, not what you fear. Okay, so we're set up for success, right? We're ready to launch, but don't get obsessed. Don't keep nitpicking because you'll never like just press the launch button, okay? Don't get obsessed. Don't get neurotic. Don't keep watching the clock. Just get lost in doing your own thing, doing the personal healing. It feels like it's not productive to that Aries energy inside of you, but look how far you've come this year. And we have been doing a lot of inner work, right? And every time we do the inner work, we have some kind of outer boon, right? So just keep at it. Oh my God. Okay, wow. One shuffle and all 4 cards flipped over because they know I have to go to work. Forgiving and learning. Oh my God. We're going to be forgiving and learning from all of our past relationships, the dynamics that we saw between our parents, the dynamics that we had with our parents, the dynamics that we had with all of our exes, you know, our friends, how we perceive that we interact or like how we're received by the community. All of that is coming into play. We're forgiving, offloading that sour bitterness, right? Letting it go so we can be unencumbered to have a fresh start, a fresh experience, even with the people that you already know and have relationships with. But we must forgive, we must learn from the past, and then we got to move forward. This could be the one! Ah! Soulmate! Yeah, who knows, guys, but something exciting could be in the works, even if you don't see it right away. There's movement under the surface, behind the scenes, or like in your realm that you just can't touch yet because you're just working out these last little like, you know, not bad, but like just like little things that might cause you to short circuit and set yourself up for the same relationship cycles if you don't nip it in the bud now, right? Okay, so this could be the one. Keep your eye out for someone who really resonates. And because the thing is though, when you're very magnetic, a bunch of people start calling you or like showing up and you start getting like a whole bunch of options at once. It's never just like the one very clear one, right? You always have all these like options and you're like, fuck, I gotta choose. But do not settle for like someone who's like sort of but not really, or even very close but not quite. Like the very exact thing that you want is out there. You desire it for a reason. It's your instinct that you know that is possible for you, but you have to be really like, you have to take your time and get to know people and find out who is actually the one and who's pretending to be the one. That is how you work out your inner child trauma. Children are affecting your love life. Working out the inner child stuff and healing the inner child and beginning that work helps you get out of the trauma bonding cycle of just immediately being like, oh my God, this person's my soulmate, love at first sight. They totally get all my childhood wounds and I'm obsessed and passionate and can't stop thinking about them and I feel so high and it feels so good. That's just like trauma bonding love addiction. It's not real, genuine, like long-lasting love. It's just a high. It's just like that love heroin. So as we heal the inner child, we're attracted to different ways that people like present to us, and it starts getting healthier and healthier, and we're not attracting the same types of people that keep us going through those traumatic cycles. Continuing to have to forgive and learn, right? And then chemistry. We had this the other day. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. And the more consistent that you can stay in your authenticity. My alarm keeps going off and I hit the snooze button instead of the stop button. But our last card, and then I've got to get ready real quick to go to work. But we'll get Mary in here for her last 2 words. But yeah, chemistry. We need to be consistent in our signal and our magnetism so that we can resonate long enough to call in. feminine, divine feminine, get in your receiving mode. I allow my feminine nature to shine brightly as a valuable part of my identity, right? So tune in to the inner world. What is your inner feminine side of yourself wanting to receive, okay? What do you need to feel nurtured, to feel alive, to feel sensually like vital and like excited about life? Like that's a very feminine quality, to want to stop and smell the roses and have that lust for life, right? It's very romantic, it's very soft, it's very you know, beautiful and light and joyful. So, you know, embrace that feminine power. Let yourself be in the stillness and the quiet to receive your own thoughts, to receive messages from your own heart and soul, and to receive what the universe is trying to help you, right? The universe is trying to be a masculine force of support for you. So get out of its way and stop interfering and just let it do its thing and let it help you, okay? Let it help you. All right, y'all, happy full moon in Aries. I hope that we get through this thing. We're in it together, okay? I will see y'all tomorrow. Ciao.